What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. We are almost come to the end of this month, which means it's time for us to check out another episode of top 10 newly released free-to-play games that you can play right now on the month of March. I wouldn't say it's the best month when it comes to new free-to-play games, but there are some decent collection of games to discuss in today's video. And as always guys, all of these games going to be completely free-to-play and available to download right now on Steam. So without further ado guys, let's get right into it. Alright guys, these days it's pretty common to see prologue versions of upcoming games that are added to Steam as free-to-play titles. So at number 8 spot we got Beer Factory Prologue, which is basically a simulation game where you have to manage all the aspects of a beer factory, including the facility, employees, production line, import and export, pretty much everything. So as I said, this is the prologue or the demo version of the game which showcase all the gameplay elements, and we can expect the full release of this game later this year. It's a single player simulation game which does seem pretty easy, but on the record it's quite challenging because every gameplay element of this game is quite realistic. You have to work with the employees, you have to recruit them, upgrade your facility, and the game involved with realistic economy, so managing it is quite challenging. Anyway, currently the game is having over 600 plus reviews on Steam and most of them are very positive, so if you are a fan of simulation type of games, it's definitely worth trying out. Moving on, at number 7 we got a very unique exploration adventure type of a game called Helpless. This game honestly caught my eye, especially due to its very unique art style, and the storyline of this game is quite emotional too. In this game you play as a child who travels with his mother and his dog in this harsh deserted environment where you have to survive, find shelter and scavenge for different items, and you have to consistently hide from the sun because the sunshine is quite harsh in this environment. It's a pretty unique single player exploration game which is pretty new to Steam and also currently having around 65 reviews, and most of them are very positive, and also the system requirements are not that heavy. Next up we got a super fun, fast-paced multiplayer first-person shooter called Heal and Hurt. It's a free-to-play, pretty old-school type casual first-person shooter where you have to switch side every time you die, which is pretty unique. There are two main sides or characters in this game, which are skeletons and angels, and both come with their own set of abilities and skills you can use. And also you can do two type of damage, which is heal and hurt, both to yourself and to your enemy, so you have to definitely keep that in mind. It's a super fun, fast-paced multiplayer shooter with variety of weapons to choose from, and currently the game is having close to 175 reviews on Steam and most of them are very positive. System requirements are also not that heavy, but the minimum requirement suggests you to have a dedicated graphics card. Next up we got a super fun sports title for those who like to play VR games. Yes, the VR games are very hard to come by, especially those free-to-play games, and we finally got a good one. This is the Sky Strikers VR, which is a free-to-play sports VR title which is multiplayer and with over-the-top action. This game is also pretty new to Steam, having around very limited reviews. Yes, the system requirements are also somewhat higher compared to other games on this list, but make sure you have a VR headset in order to play this game. Next up we got a very fun 2D puzzle platformer game called Super Cake Boy. This game definitely reminds me of the good old Mario games we used to play a lot back in the day. It has the same 2D graphic style, similar puzzles and gameplay elements, but of course with a different concept. It's a very simple and fun casual game similar to the Mario. Sometimes you may like it, sometimes you not, but I simply download the game and try out due to that nostalgic factor. It's still a very new game on Steam, having around only 27 reviews. Most of them are positive, and also you don't have to worry about the system requirements at all. Alright guys, before moving on, I would like to thank the sponsor of this video, Maono. Maono recently came up with this brand new programmable USB condenser microphone, Maono DM30, which is ideal for gamers, streamers and content creators. It's come with a full metal build and a nice metal stand, adjustable volume knob, USB-C connectivity and also real-time monitoring with Maono Link. It also packs some great features for its awesome price point and also come with a 4 different color variant as well. For the full review and for more information, definitely check out the link down below. Alright, at number 3 we got a new psychological horror game called Obscura Experiment. Man, this type of psychological horror game becoming a lot more popular, especially on the free-to-play section on Steam. There are tons of games like this I've been seeing recently, and this is one of the new additions. In this game you are in an experiment complex and you play as a scientist whose research team has been decimated by a mysterious new kind of a dark matter, and this new type of dark anomaly cannot be seen on the naked eye, and the game provides you with the in-game scanner tablet which has a limited amount amount of battery life. This makes the game even more challenging and you have to be careful about your next move and plan accordingly. It's still a pretty new game to the Steam, having around 50 reviews, most of them are positive. I know these type of horror games are definitely not for everyone, but if you are someone who enjoys these type of games, it will definitely give you a challenging experience. Next up at number 2, we have a super fun game for those who like to have a realistic racing experience, and that is the Engine Evolution 2022. I remember they released this game back in last year as well, but now they improved the gameplay a lot and add more features into the game and somehow re-release onto the Steam. This is quite an impressive game, especially considering it was only made by a single person, especially an indie developed student, which makes the game even more impressive. Going into the game, I was thinking this is some kind of an arcade racing experience, but surprisingly it was a quite realistic experience, especially considering the vehicle handling and the physics. Overall, I would say it's a pretty decent experience as a free-to-play title. Currently, the game is having close to 700 plus reviews on Steam and most of them are mostly positive. System recons are also not that heavy and quite acceptable in my opinion. Alright guys, before moving to the number 1 spot, I want to mention a couple of great free-to-play releases that happened this month, but unfortunately most of the people haven't get their hands on these games. First one is the Finals closed beta test. I had the chance to try out the closed beta and it was a super fun experience overall. Hopefully we have more information about the upcoming release date. And also a few days ago, Valve announced the Counter-Strike 2, which is probably the most hyped FPS game right now, and currently the game is going through a very limited playtest, had access to limited amount of players, so most of us haven't had the chance to try the game out yet, but it's going to be free to play for everyone and going to be released later this year. Alright guys, moving at number 1 spot, we got Gatekeeper Eclipse. Gatekeeper Eclipse is a free-to-play roguelike fast-paced shooter where you have to go on a quest to find the stolen heart of the universe and shoot your way through the hordes of machine enemies. This is a roguelike shooter which you can expect waves of enemies and around 1000 enemies can rush you at the same time, so the gameplay is actually quite challenging. Anyway, the game is pretty popular on Steam, having close to 550 reviews on Steam and most of them are sitting at very positive reviews. System requirements are also not that heavy, quite ideal if you have a low-end system. Well, that's pretty much a wrap up the video guys. I hope you guys find some great new free-to-play games to try out during this month. As always guys, if you enjoyed the content, please make sure to drop a like on it and also hit that subscribe button because we cover a lot of free-to-play games on this channel. So I'll catch you guys soon in my next video. Stay safe.